That's right, it's the end of the workday. Making progress with drywall. It looks, and it is, a bit sporadic and a bit chaotic, but that is largely due to the availability of labor, quite frankly. My twin brother and my oldest son were here the other day. They're helping me put up the ceiling and the slopes there. That is 5/8 inch drywall. That is heavy. They're big sheets. The 1/2 inch drywall I'm putting on the walls, and I can do that all day long. It's a bit cumbersome, but I can do that all day long, which is what I am doing. So what I plan to do and hope to be able to do is to get the drywall done on the side walls and the door wall and get all that done, which clears me for the window wall, and it allows me to get in there and build my sashes, complete that framing, insulate it, drywall, and then I'm done the drywall. I'm done the building, and then I get to mudding and taping and testing and eventually finishing. Won't that be something? I'm just having a quick look here because I just want to make sure that I've got everything sealed up and buttoned up that I need to button up, because I'm going to insulate this wall. I've got my electrical run, I've got my windows fitting. I know I can take them out, I've had them in and out. Once, of course, I insulate it, then I can put a sheet of drywall on, and then I'm going to mud and tape the whole room, and then I'm close, right? The 2x4 is here, and I don't want any insulation to be pressed back in against the window as it slides in this cavity space. I've just taken my insulation and I've notched where the 2x4 brace is. So I'm just going to carefully have to slip that back in here. And there's the notcher on the 2x4. And that should sit there and behave. It's starting to look like end days. Not end days. This is not a cult. Not those sorts of end days, but the end of this project. Or at least the construction phase, and I have to, of course, tune the room and figure out my diffusion and my absorption and that kind of thing. So anyway, it looks good. I'm really happy with it. Okay, one of the last things I have to do before I can insulate and drywall this particular end wall here is take this coax cable, which is already ended, which is nice. I'm going to feed it out into the cavity space with my fish tape. And I'm going to have to crawl into the attic from my bedroom side to pull it around to join the cable feed that's in that room. So I'll put a splitter on that end, and then I'll feed cable in here, and if I want to have a TV one day, I've got the cable. But since the walls are open and I have the opportunity, I mean, why not wire for cable? There's also an Ethernet drop over here as well that came from the other side of the room, if you recall. So just got to fish this into the attic, pull it out, make sure I got it, and then I can close this wall up. I gotta be honest, I hate drywall. Of all the stuff that I can do, and I do a little bit, I can do a little plumbing, a little electrical, a little building framing, carpentry, woodworking of various kinds. I'm fairly handy, but God, I hate doing drywall. I'm not good at it. I can hack it together, and that's kind of what it is. And that's not even talking about the taping and the mudding yet. I gotta get to that. Ugh. And every time I do it, I say, I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to hire somebody. But the reality is hiring somebody to do something that I know I can do, I just don't want to, is one thing. But the other thing, too, is this project is so grossly over budget. It's not even funny. So, I'm spending like a sailor on shore leave. Yeah, I can't afford it. So I'll muddle through as best I can. So from the beginning, I've known that I might have to add a second layer of drywall on the underside of that sloped ceiling, which is my roof, because I was hearing still the pitter-patter of rain. And as I mentioned, we do get rain here fairly regularly during the winter. We get lots of windstorms and rain. And that's just not, it wasn't quite quiet enough with using Acoustiseal, and I've got my layer of wood cladding plus 5/8 inch drywall. So today I've added a 1/2 inch drywall on top of that, and more to the point. And this is kind of my last ditch effort. If this doesn't work, I don't know what I'm going to do. But what I've done is I've added in these tubes of green glue. They're very expensive, and you use 2 of them per sheet of drywall. So the green glue at $40 is about roughly 3 times as expensive as the drywall. That almost could be a smiley face in the middle there. So I've added that to the walls. My friend Kent was here today to help me do that, to get the drywall in and up on the ceiling. With this green glue in between the 2 layers of drywall. So I've got 5/8 inch drywall the green glue, and then a 1/2 inch drywall to finish. And that has to do it, because if it doesn't do it, then I don't know what else I can do. I don't want to add any more drywall. A, for weight. B, I'm starting to shrink the space. Yeah, next time it rains, I'm going to find out. You know, it's endlessly fascinating to me, the power of sound. We all know that sound is energy and it moves materials. You've been to a rock concert, I'm sure. I used to when I was younger, and you're near the stage. And the bass player and the drummer with his kick are beating a pattern, a little tattoo. They're dancing on your sternum, on your rib cage, shuffling your organs around. I mean, it can be frightening, actually. You realize the concussive nature of that low-frequency energy. That low-frequency energy can move your stuff around, you know. But when I think about raindrops, I mean, raindrops are falling from thousands of feet up, I guess, and they're falling, 32 feet a second is terminal velocity. And a raindrop hits my shingle, and it transmits through a membrane. It transmits through what is at minimum a 5/8 inch plywood sheeting on my roof, 2.5 inches of mineral wool insulation, a layer of 1/8 inch cork, 3/4 of an inch of wood cladding, 5/8 inch drywall to this point. And of course with acoustical in between all those layers, and still that raindrop transmits that energy through all of that material so that I can hear it. And if I can hear it, my microphone certainly can. So with the addition of the green glue and another 1/2 inch of drywall, I'm hoping that last little bit goes away. Microphones are less forgiving than our human brains. We get used to filtering out certain things that we don't even notice them. How many people work in an office and they're not even aware of the vac system, the constant air conditioning, the murmur, the hum of office buildings, and the sound coming in from outside, the street noise, pedestrians, whatever. You do tend to block that out. You do tend to filter it. Your brain is very good at filtering that. Microphones, not so much. Which is why when you choose a microphone, you're going to choose your polar pattern. You're going to choose wisely in that area, depending on your usage and depending on where you are. But anyway, if I can hear a raindrop hit the roof, then I know that my microphone can. It's at least as smart as me, and in some cases smarter. But anyway, we'll see if that works. If it doesn't, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I guess I'll just have to quit. This is good. This is better. I mean, I made some progress today, mudding and taping. It's going to take me a while. My dad, actually, who was a jack of many trades, but his principal trade was as a plasterer way back in the day. So, you know, lath and plaster in houses, he would have been the guy that would have gone and applied some of that stuff. He was skilled at many things, and he'd have this room done in no time. That's not me, Dad, sorry. I don't have the feel for it, and I respect and appreciate and admire people who can do drywall and do it beautifully, but that's not me.
It's like Studio 54 in the 80s in here.
I'm not too concerned about the aesthetics of it. Obviously, I'd like to do a better job than I think I've been doing, but this certainly will suffice. It won't be terrible, nor would it be brilliant. A real drywaller, a real pro would spot this job, and he would spot the flaws, or she would spot the flaws very, very easily. But I don't care. Well, that's the primer coat done. I'll let that set up for a couple of hours, and I'll apply my first coat of the top coat and the color coat. And I have two colors actually, but they're both shades of green, mild green, I think. I have a challenge. I'm not colorblind, but I'm color challenged, you might say. So my wife helped me pick these colors. They're fairly standard issue pale greens. In fact, when I went to the hardware store, it was a competitor's color chip, and of course he thought he could go to the website, and I guess they share this information. And he was looking for it, and he said, "Oh, that's an old color. They don't make it anymore." But what I realized, of course, is, man, I'm not very hip. Color has moved on from, you know, your basic old green, apparently. Anyway, I want to take my old, out-of-date, no longer made green, pale green, and apply that. And we'll see. Well, that was fun. It's starting to look really, really good. Next time out, we're going to go back downstairs to the shop to build both the door frame from standard 2x6s as well as the door itself. That's next time out on Sound Sense, building a home-based recording studio.